Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What we've got is 4 lawyers who are very bright, all have one thing in common: they like Virginia. And I counted 7 opinions among you. I think 2 of you disagree with yourselves somewhere along the line. And the point is that you're very bright. I appreciate you coming. And Mr. Soufan, thank you for serving our country.
Thank you, sir.
And I appreciate your view of how we should behave. The point that we're trying to make is, as we go forward, is that we get this right. And as we look back in the past, we don't want to shade this one way or the other unnecessarily. Is it your testimony that enhanced interrogation techniques that were employed right after 9/11 yielded no good information?
I can only speak about my own personal experience.
And that's the point, isn't it?
Yes.
And I admire you. I really do. I really appreciate what you're doing. And, Mr. Chairman, I think there's some information out there that shows that enhanced interrogation techniques did yield good information. And I would like that to be part of this inquiry if we're going to have it. But having said that, Mr. Soufan, I appreciate what you're telling us. Were you involved in the KSM interrogation at all?
No, sir. After my stand in the Abu Zubaydah and stand what I believed is right.
I don't doubt that at all, and I don't doubt that you're trying to help the country. I'm just saying that this idea that no good information was acquired is probably not accurate. But that doesn't justify what we did. That's all I'm saying. Now, as to the Geneva Convention, Mr. Turner, appreciate the compliment, by the way. The Geneva Convention, to me, has always been a warehousing agreement between the signatory nations. We catch some of your guys, we're going to treat them well, and we expect like reciprocity. We catch a civilian, we're going to treat them well until the conflict is over. Is that generally the goal of the Geneva Convention?
Senator, that's exactly the term that I use in teaching about the Geneva Convention. It was, if you go back through history, the original practice was to put them to the sword. Somebody got smart and said, hey, we can turn them into slaves. They played around briefly with paroling them, which is to say, okay, go back to your flock or your farm. Don't come back to the battlefield. And the king said, or the prince said, get your tail back on the battlefield. And so they finally said, look, let's not kill them. Let's just warehouse them, treat them humanely, feed them. When the war's over, we'll trade prisoners. And that's been the practice for several hundred years.
And isn't the problem in this war is that number one, Al-Qaeda is not a signatory to the convention. The only way we're going to stop this enemy from attacking us is to find good information and hit them before they hit us.
Again, that's right out of my prepared testimony.
I've never taken your class, by the way, but I'm liking it so far.
Unlike any war we've ever had, this war is 90%, if not more, intelligence. Usually you need your intelligence service to identify the location of the enemy and their plans, and then you send your tanks, your armor, your aircraft carriers. In this battle, a good police department could arrest al-Qaeda if we can find them and know what they're doing. So intelligence is incredibly important.
Mr. Adcock, is that right?
Yes, sir.
We're the only nation that I know of that considers al-Qaeda operatives a military threat. Every other nation looks at this through the law enforcement prism. Is that true? Does everyone agree with that?
No, sir. I don't think that's the case any longer.
Okay. What nation has adopted the enemy combatant theory?
We've actually been engaged in international conferences on just this point with our key allies for about the last 4 years.
Is there any country that holds a detainee under the theory of the law of armed conflict?
They don't hold detainees under that theory, but partly it's because other countries are holding them under that theory.
Well, my point is that we do hold people under the theory of law of armed conflict. Have you ever been to a interrogation conducted by the Spanish police?
I have not had that rare privilege, sir.
Well, I have. Have you ever been to an interrogation conducted by the Carbonari in Italy?
Neither have I.
Wow. Do you believe, Mr. Turner, that these interrogations are common Article 3 compliant?
No, sir.
There is no law enforcement agency in the world dealing with terrorism interrogates in a common Article 3 manner, because you can't say hello firmly under common Article 3. I just want the world to understand and my time is up, that the reason we have adopted a different theory is very important because I think we're at war. And the people we're prosecuting didn't rob a liquor store. They're an ongoing military threat. And the odd thing about this is if you go down the military law of armed conflict, in many ways you restrict your ability to get information versus the law enforcement model, but I think that's the right model to have. With that, I'll yield to you. It's just the two of us. Take any
we'll
time.
Just go back and forth.
I agree, Senator, just for the record.
Go back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, we got to figure this out as a world, not just a nation, right, Philip? I mean,
absolutely. In fact, it's a coalition fight. We need coalition standards for the fight.
Totally
and one
agree.
reason we're having this discussion is let's work on standards that will also be interoperable with our allies.
Right.